Thanks, Philip, and welcome to Today in Putnam County. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hope you're having a great weekend. My goal with the show is to keep you informed on all the things happening in our county and to interview some of the people that are making them happen. So let's get started. My guests this morning is Cindy Schueman and Mark Hutchings with Impact. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
I'm great. How about y'all guys?
Good morning.
It's good to have you all on this morning. You're part of a great organization, Impact. Been coming to the Impact banquets for years now, and one of the premier events each year. Impact is a lot more than just putting on a banquet, and I know you got some great stuff coming up that we're going to be talking about this morning. But Cindy, you're the executive director. Mark, you're the chairman of the board.
Right.
Let's start with some history on Impact.
Okay.
What does Impact stand for?
Well, IMPACT did stand for Innovative Men Progressing the African American Community Together. When it first was founded, primarily with Dr. Robert Owens, the African American community recognized that they had some needs, and they were trying to meet those needs when they realized that they also have a lot of potential between the people that formed it to do some things in the community, and primarily to do some things for African Americans. And
That's evolved, though, hasn't
that
it?
has evolved, and after a while, they, in conversation with Rob and Dr. Quentin Owens,
Clinton can't sell.
yeah, yes, put my thinking cap on. They asked me what they could do in the community to have more outreach. I suggested a leadership program that also focused on being inclusive of all minorities, and we formed our own board, and Mark is the chairman of that board this year for the next 2 years, and the impact leadership aspect of being out in the community was multicultural, cross-cultural, and so a year and a half, 2 years ago, IMPACT changed their acronym to stand for Innovative Many Progressing All Communities Together. So the evolution has occurred to be all-inclusive rather than just focusing on one minority group.
Basically, in about a 10-year period, in it, Mark, that the Impact's been going.
It has been.
How did you get involved in Impact?
Well, you know, it's interesting because in my former university life, I was involved in the fundraising for the scholarship that Impact does with Rob and Mark Burnett.
Right.
That
Two
work very
great
close
guys.
with that. Absolutely, two dear friends of mine. So I've been involved through that aspect for a long time. Several years ago, when Impact leadership grew out of Impact, Michael Torrance, Dr. Michael Torrance, another dear friend, was a chairman of the board at that time and was looking to make sure that diversity really meant diversity on the board. And so I became one of the minorities on the board. And so, which was a great way to put it, and I was thrilled to be asked to do that. And so, particularly since leadership and ethics and those kind of things are real important to me, and something that my career has been spent advancing in all kinds of different ways. And so being on that board, and then after Michael left, I got asked by the board member to serve as chair of the board. So
Here we are.
Here we are, that's right.
So you're about to do a big event that is going to take, I think, Impact into the next stage, the next level, whatever you want to say. You're going to put on a huge conference coming up this fall. Can you tell our listeners about that?
Sure. This is probably this is one of those events that grew out of some great ideas and really meeting, and I know a little bit later we'll talk about some of the regular things that we do, but this is probably the most exciting thing we've got going at the moment. Grew out of a need that we learned from going around the region talking about leadership and getting people involved in all sorts of leadership. We want them involved in nonprofit boards and in community governance, all of those kind of
elected
things.
offices.
Exactly. We want them, anywhere they can be a positive social influence. That's what we want them to do. And so, in thinking about that and looking around the region, we found out that attorneys, teachers, everybody was going somewhere regularly for training on leadership.
Yeah.
Well, we have a huge and wonderful area right here. Why go somewhere if we can do it here?
Absolutely.
And so our board decided to take on that endeavor, and got some grant money to help us do that. And we are October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd going to have the first of many impactful leadership conference here in Cookeville, Tennessee.
So, Cindy, I know you've been working on this for a long time, and
A couple of years.
yeah,
Yes.
the idea came up. So it's something that's been very time consuming. You put a lot of work into it, but you've got a great list of speakers coming. This is not going to be your typical little small seminar that you come for 3 or 4 hours and walk away with 2 or 3
Well-
continuing education units. This is a 2 or 3 day event with I'm looking at least 20 speakers, and some of these are some amazing speakers that you're bringing in. Tell us a little bit more about the conference.
Well, a couple of things happened. I go to conferences every year, just out of an absolute thirst to continually be relevant, find out what's going on in the world. And there's one conference in particular I really like, and it's usually 5 days long, and they offer all kinds of professional continuing education. And the last couple of times I sat by federal judges, and it was motivating for me to come back and say, people like to know the leaders in their community. And going to a leadership conference that offers continuing legal education, continuing education for elected officials,
Right.
continuing professional education,
We all have to have it.
you all have to have it.
Lawyers, judges, elected officials, and Mark's right. We've been going somewhere else to pick those up. So to have it here in Cookeville is unbelievable. To be able to be at home and not have to drive to get it.
Right.
And we've had a couple of companies reach out to us and say they will authorize continuing professional education units for their employees who attend. So through your own company, your companies can grant it also. TTU is offering certification for those that need the CEU certification. And so out of my attending conferences, I came back and I presented some ideas, and Mark thought that I was kind of presenting the universe, and so Mark and Michael said we have to hone this down to something earthly, and we came up with 3 days, one night being a keynote speaker, the next 2 days having breakout sessions and multiple sessions going on at the same time. So the first day there's 42 available opportunities to hear different speakers. The second day there's about 30.
So that's going to be a huge event.
Big event.
Big
Yes,
event
yes.
coming to Cookeville. We're glad you're doing it. You're listening to Today in Putnam County on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. I'm Randy Porter, your host. More with Cindy Schueman and Mark Hutchings when we come back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. Today my guests are Cindy Schueman and Mark Hutchings with Impact. We've been talking about the big conference coming up in October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's going to be right here in Cookeville. The first of its kind that is going to allow a lot of your local elected officials, attorneys, judges, people just needing continuing education and leadership conference to be held here in Cookeville so we don't have to drive to other places. What a great idea, and I'm glad you're doing it. Let's talk a little bit more about it, Mark. You've got some great topics coming up in the conference. Can you tell us about some of those?
Sure, yeah. You know, the whole premise around impact leadership is truly focusing on leadership skills, and not just in the fact of leading others, but being a leader in diversity, in minority issues, in your community. So we've got ethics, we've got all of those kind of things, and we talk a lot about this in our normal classes that I'll share with you in just a minute. But you know, we've got some great topics here, such as civil discourse, how to deal with each other within this. You know, the ethos of transcendent leadership is one of the topics, and that Dr. Robert Owens is going to be giving that, so we're really excited about having that. You know, African Americans in the tech world, you know, different ideas, different concepts that perhaps you don't normally hear at just your standard going to get some leadership training conference.
Yeah,
And so-
I saw one of the speakers you had here, Dr. Ming Wang, that we are all
Mhm.
very familiar with from all his commercials and everything with it, doing the eye surgery,
Exactly, yes,
talking about
yes.
the keys to success.
Right, right.
He's a perfect example.
He's
of
a
that.
perfect example. He's going to share his story of how he showed up, escaped from his homeland,
Right.
and showed up here and became what he is today. And I think that's a real lesson in leadership for all of us. So that's going to be really exciting.
So this conference, April 1st, 2nd, and
No.
excuse me, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. If someone wants to attend the conference, is there a registration process that they go through?
There is. They can sign up going to our website, impactleadershiptn.com, impactleadershiptn.org, and they can get to our website, and there's a little blue tab that says conference. They can click on that. They can either click to attend and sign up, or they can click to see the speaker list. And it's for one price for 3 days.
Okay. And can you give us a price for our listeners for 3 days?
Early registration is $150,
149.
$149.
Wow, that is cheap for most
Well,
conferences that I go
that's
to.
Oh,
It's,
and they get a nice swag bag.
It's 3 or 4 times that, and not having to drive and go somewhere else. That's
Right,
going to be great.
right.
You're doing something else inside this conference that I've been reading about. Cindy kind of got me started on this. Strengths Genius.
Strengths Genius.
Am I saying that right?
That's right.
Tell
That's
us
right.
about
So-
that. You're going to be doing that at the conference also.
That's right. There are some ladies in Tennessee that have been involved in different leadership programs, either with their company. One of them was with the John Maxwell Group for a long time, of which I'm a John Maxwell certified trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And they have taken the Gallup poll. Gallup started Strengths Genius many years ago, and it's a real interesting way to tell what your strengths are. Or anybody's strengths, and it's got a neat history that they share in one of the states in Rhode Island. They were having some morale problems within state government, and Gallup brought this in and did this, and productivity within the state went up,
Shot up
significantly just by understanding who each other's strengths were. And so they have trained, both Cindy and I are certified now in that as well, and they're going to come in and do on the second day their Strengths Genius presentation to those that want to participate in that.
That'd be
And
great.
so it is a fabulous program.
That's an opportunity for them to be able to get it here. If they might have to travel miles to be able to get that somewhere else and pay a large fee to be able to do that.
That's
So
right.
that's great. That's
That's
included
right.
with the conference. That's
That's
going to be
right.
at the conference, right?
Right, but
That's
they
right.
have to fill out the assessment
Okay.
prior.
Beforehand, that's right.
Yeah.
Prior.
There's
That's
an-
all on the website, right?
Sure.
And
Sure.
that Sherry Strong and Lori Weir won an award from the Rebuilding Tennessee Development District Association in 2019 for their contribution to rebuilding strong communities.
That's great. That's going to be a great asset and part of the class. I want to hit a couple other topics while I have you here. You do the Impact Leadership class every year. People may be familiar with Leadership Putnam that's been done for several years. Similar, you have people that are registered for the class. 1 day a week, you go and take them around to.
1 day a month.
1 day a month, you take them around to county government, city government, all these kinds of things that most people may not take the time to be able to learn about.
Mm-hmm.
And so spend a day in county government and they hear all about all the elected offices and how everything works. You have one of those coming up very soon, correct?
We do, and I think it's noteworthy that Impact Leadership Program has the same blueprint. All 95 counties in Tennessee have a leadership program.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a blueprint for a leadership program. We took that same blueprint, but we added to it leadership training skills. We added, they get a personality assessment. We may also be adding the strengths assessment because your personality preferences are much different than your innate, inherent strengths. We added board training, nonprofit board training, and then we have a community day with about 25 different nonprofits where they interview our participants and our participants interview them. And we are very successful in getting our participants placed on a board. And then we do diversity of training. And what am I missing?
Oh, just in the nonprofit side of the board training, we talk about budgeting, we talk about personnel assessment within nonprofits. I mean, it's really training folks to be involved immediately.
To get them involved in the community,
In the
serving
community.
on these nonprofit
Right.
organizations, looking at running for office and those kind of things.
That's exactly right.
To be able to sign up for the class, Cindy, is it the same website?
It is. It's the same website, or they can contact me at
Well, all the information on the website.
All the
See, that's
information
probably
is on
the
the
best way. If they don't want to fill out the form, they just have questions.
Right.
Call us, email us. We've got all of that right there on the website.
and on the website, impactleadershiptn.com or .org, then it would be up on the top bar, and there's a little circle button that says apply.
Wow. So when's your next class coming up?
It starts September 14th with orientation on Saturday, and then it's one Tuesday a month, typically about the third Tuesday of every month for the next 9 months.
And do you have openings still available inside the class?
We do.
We do, yes.
Folks, this is a great class. If you want to learn about nonprofits, government, hospital, Board of Education, all the many things that we have in our county, sign up for this class. You will not be disappointed. It's unbelievable at the amount of knowledge that you will obtain by going to this class. A couple other things you got going too. You have where your speaker program where you go around to the schools. You've been doing this for several years, talking to the students. Can you tell us quickly about that?
We do a 2-day seminar type thing with students that are selected by the counselors at the high schools. We do all 4 Putnam County high schools. And we go in, and they are also given the personality assessment with Myers-Briggs. They're taught how to build a simple resume. They have diversity training. They're talked to about goal setting, the relationship of money, time management, transitioning from school education to work education. They're taught about interviewing and behavioral skills on the job. And in this 2 days, we provide lunch and have different speakers come in and talk to them. The program was successful, and it continues to be in Putnam County. Overton County has added us to their school list,
That's great.
so we're expanding.
And those things that you're teaching these students are things that are not normally taught in high school anymore, things that they're going to need to be able to walk out into the real world, get a job, be able to handle their own finances and so forth.
That's right.
That's
That's
a great program. Guys, I really appreciate y'all being on the show this
Well,
morning.
thank you. Yeah.
I thank you for what you do, for leadership, for impact, for our community. One final review, you got your conference coming up, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You can go to the website to sign up.
Sign up today. You can do it now.
You've got your leadership class coming up in September. Website sign up. Spend 1 day a month learning about Putnam County and Cookville and all the things going on. Great job. I really thank y'all for being here and
Thank
appreciate
you.
what y'all are
Thank
doing.
you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Today in Putnam County on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. I'm Randy Porter, your host. Coming up after the break, Tammy Hogan with Mustard Seed Ranch. So please stay with us. Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. My next guest is Tammy Hogan with Mustard Seed Ranch. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You've got some great events coming up with Mustard Seed Ranch. I was reading on your website, and we've been talking about the big banquet coming up. But before we get into that, you're celebrating your 10th year with Mustard Seed Ranch.
Yes, we opened our doors 10 years ago as of April of 2009.
Isn't that amazing?
It's hard to believe.
For some of our listeners that may not know about Mustard Seed Ranch, can you give us a brief overview of what you do?
Absolutely. Mustard Seed Ranch is an interdenominational Christian ministry. It's a home for kids. And we're kind of that step before you go to DCS. And we just want to, give kids a second chance, an opportunity to kind of come to us. And many of them get the chance to just be kids for the very first time in their lives. And so we're a home for children, and currently we have 2 boys' homes and 1 girls' home. And basically, each home is comprised of a set of house parents that come there, and they literally are there 24/7. They live in the home, and they have basically come there because they're called by God to provide for children that are not their own. And each home is also filled with 8 children per home max, and so it's a special place, and it also takes a very special person to come and be a house parent, you know.
Absolutely, and these folks feel like they're being led or called to be able to do that.
Yeah.
These children have had some, in a lot of cases, terrible events that
Yes.
have happened in their lives.
Yeah.
Loss of parents, different things going on,
Yeah.
and this gives them a stable home to be able to live in.
It does. You know, many times our kids come to us angry, or they don't trust, and they're sad, and all of these are secondary issues to actually what's going on inside for them. And yeah, they've all kind of had some difficulty for sure prior to coming to us, whether it be neglect or abuse of some sort. But actually, Randy, 95% of our kids are actually placed there by their grandparents, who are their guardians.
Right.
And they want the opportunity to give them every opportunity they can to be
Be
successful.
successful in life.
Yeah, so we partner with the grandparents, and then I actually host a guardian support group for them to give them skills, and just so they can be there to kind of share together and realize that they're not alone, you know, because many times there's a tremendous amount of guilt that they feel inside for placing their grandchildren
Right.
there. But knowing that that's probably the best
Best thing
option
for
for
'em.
them, instead of ending up in foster care or just not knowing how to provide for their specific special needs. So it's pretty awesome. But what's really interesting is we started partnering with a local psychologist named Scott Herman, who that was about 3 years ago. And it was amazing because what he does is provide trauma therapy for our children. And it's amazing because we're seeing children turn that corner. Yeah,
yes.
and they're healing faster because it's a neurological based type trauma therapy, and it's amazing. It's a huge blessing.
That is great. You have 2 big events coming up.
We do.
August 1st.
Yeah.
Tell us about your banquet.
Well, this is a special banquet this year. This is our 10th anniversary, and we just really want to acknowledge and give, you know, just so much credit to our community who just have made Mustard Seed Ranch what it is today. But even more importantly, we want to give glory to God for everything that He's
Absolutely.
provided for the ranch, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for Him, and
That's right.
it's His ministry. So it's exciting, and I can't wait because it's just a special time, you know, and we're at 10 years. I can't believe it.
Can't believe 10 years went by that
54
fast.
kids in 10 years.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
What a great job.
Yeah.
So August 1st,
Yes.
Leslie Town Center,
Mhm.
6 p.m.
Actually, not at the Leslie Town
Not
Center.
Leslie Town Center?
It's going to be at Life Church.
Life Church, excuse
Yep,
me.
6 p.m. at Life Church on August the 1st.
If someone wants to attend, do they need to contact you? Is there openings?
Yes, they can contact our office,
Okay.
Mustard Seed Ranch office, or you can actually check our Facebook page because we're going to be posting an opportunity for people to join our banquet from there.
That is great. Second big event, and this is huge, is Jake's Day.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the last 4 years, your program has been the best in the country, is that what I'm saying?
4 out of the last 8 years, we have won the best Jake's Day in the country.
Isn't that
And,
amazing?
yeah.
Tell us what Jake's Day is.
Well, Jake's Day is really an awesome day because, first of all, we partnered with the National Wildlife Turkey Federation Upper Cumberland chapter, and basically to join forces in hosting an event to give back to the community. And it's a free event for kids of all ages to come out. The first year we actually did it, 8 years ago, we only had 85 children. This last year we had 620 kids come out, and we had over 1,400 people there.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's awesome. And so what we do is it's an opportunity to educate kids on the outdoors. And so we have events like we have, skeet shooting, we have a dunking booth, we have the petting zoo, we have a climbing wall. We even have a new event this year with 4-wheelers.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we even do hay rides, and it's my favorite time of the year because there's just a bunch of kiddos everywhere, and I just got permagrin the whole day.
That is amazing. You kind of have a mini farm out there at Mustard Seed, and it's a great location. And so for the Jake's Day, it's on August the 17th.
August 17th from 8:30 until 1 p.m. at Mustard Seed Ranch.
Can local children attend?
We want if we could have every kid in the local area come out and be there, we would be very happy to provide. I mean, it's free, and it's such a great opportunity for families to come out as well.
And enjoy
So,
it.
yeah.
So if a family wants to come to Jake's Day, how would they go about that? Website, some way of
Well,
contacting?
they can go to our Facebook page because we have that posted right now, and they can enter to come to that. Actually, when people walk up to the registration booth, they can automatically register that day as well.
Okay.
So they can just do it immediately. And every kid gets a free hat, Jake's Day hat. They get free lunch that day. And then we also have the local police department, sheriff department. I mean, everybody is out there helping out with snow cones, popcorn. I mean, it's a huge event because kids are really important. And we love them, and we just want to just continue to spread the love like everybody does for us.
That's the future of our county and our country is our
Yes.
children, and making sure that we take care of them. And y'all do a great job
Thank
with that.
you.
You've got a big construction project that
Yeah.
I know you've been planning for some time. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, we have. It's been a little bit, this is our third year. We started a capital campaign 3 years ago to build a boys' home and a girls' home, which would be an additional 16 children. It was a $1.8 million capital campaign, and the reason it was that much is because each house cost basically $400,000 to raise.
Wow.
And then we wanted 3 years of operational cushion, if you will, to let our budget get used to that additional cost. And so right now, currently, we recently found out the fire marshal just basically stated, you need a pump house on your campus and to provide that much water for everyone, and so for 5 additional structures.
Right.
And so we're in our third package of approval right now. And basically our engineers are finishing up that drawing to send back to get approval. And once we get approval, we'll be ready to go. We only have about $115,000 left to raise out of that campaign.
Isn't that
in 3
amazing?
years.
We
Yeah.
live in a great community,
Oh,
don't we?
boy.
That is willing to give and,
Yes.
and donate. So once the construction project is finished, how many children will you be able to hold in?
16, 8
16.
girls and 8 boys.
That
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes, which will then allow us to be able to have a total of 54 children on campus.
That is
So,
amazing.
yeah, it'll be awesome.
If people want to donate to Mustard Seed Ranch, how's the best way to do that?
Well, you know, you can go to our website, www.mustardseedranchtn.org, and you can give that way, and or you can give us a call. And we monthly donors are our biggest, something that we need the most is just to continue to help us to provide for our children. And after 10 years, we are still debt-free because of all the people who give.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Folks, if you're listening to today, Mustard Seed Ranch is one of our great charities that we have here in Putnam County. They do a great job taking care of our children. Tammy, you do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
We are so blessed to have you in our community, and I just thank God that He has put you here and Mustard Seed Ranch and the job that you do.
Thank
so
you.
thank you for coming and being here this
Thank
morning.
you for
Good luck
having
on
me,
all
Randy.
your events.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
That's our show for today. I want to thank my guests, Cindy Schueman, Mark Hutchings, and Tammy Hogan for being here. Hope you'll join us every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Today in Putnam County on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. You can also download the WHUB app and listen to us on your cell phone. If you missed any of our shows, go to my website at randyporter.org. As always, thanks to Brett Carl Fleshman for producing my show each week. I'm County Mayor Randy Porter, hoping you have a great rest of your Saturday, and may God continue to bless our great county.